as well. So yeah, it's going to be a brave marshal to go and pick one of those up. Hopefully they'll be going to bed soon.
Yeah, well, there were smaller ones than the one that Max encountered back in 2016. Was quite literally a monster. But these monitor lizards, actually, I mean, God, I tell you, they've got to work hard to avoid them.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one that Max met the last time was more of a Komodo dragon than a lizard. But the main thing is hopefully they can round them up and put them somewhere safe, and they don't obviously get involved in the next session.
Well, they caused some damage.
There's an incredible program called Urban Wild on Sky by David Attenborough, looking at all the wildlife that lives in Singapore. So there's a lot of critters around here, actually, but we got two lizards.
Saw a couple of rats on my travels the other day, anyway. Right, let's bring on to the session itself and hopes for the weekend. I mean, this is a place rarely where Max Verstappen hasn't had a pole, he hasn't had a win. So I suppose it's just a new, fresh challenge for him, is it?
Yeah, I think this track is going to be one of the toughest of the season for us. I think the characteristics don't play naturally to the strengths of the car, and I think that we're going to have to be right at the top of our game to keep this winning momentum going. You can see Ferrari look quick, McLaren look like they're there, Mercedes are there as well, so it could be very, very tight this weekend.
Well, it's obviously hard to get on top, it's hard to stay on top, but in a practice session where it's dirty, it's a street course, it's got to get cleaned off, rubbered in, all those things, what are you trying to check off in FP1?
I think mainly find a balance, and the circuit evolves so quickly, so it's getting the drivers to be able to go with the circuit, tune the car to the circuit, and make sure that the car's reacting to those changes. I think because it's not a permanent track, it was obviously pretty dirty, and so the evolution is fast and rapid, and I think that we had a look at the soft and the hard compounds there, and we'll get to see the others obviously in the next session.
It's quite like an American circuit in a way, street circuit. You've got a lot of block change, 90 left, 90 right, slow corners. Is that where you think you'll lose out compared to some of the other more high-speed circuits?
I think so. I think, predominantly high-speed has been strong for us. I think combined, corners as well, or combined entries, whereas 90-degree corners, we saw it in Monaco, we saw it in Azerbaijan even earlier in the year. They've been more of a challenge for us. So I think we can still be there, but we're going to have to be right on the top of our game.
Combined, you mean by braking and turning?
Yeah, rather than braking in a straight line and then turning.
Speaking of, we've got 4 less braking and turning, so what was the feedback on getting rid of those 4 corners out there?
I haven't heard anything specific from the drivers. It seems to flow pretty well. Hopefully it provides another overtaking opportunity as well. So I haven't heard anything negative from the drivers about the new layout.
Do you wish there was DRS in that zone?
I think it would have been a good thing, at least to get the cars bunched up a little bit more. I think if you're in the pack, I would have thought that DRS would have been an advantage there.
I happen to know that of the 10 teams that were canvassed, 5 didn't even reply, 3 said no, and 2 said yes. So I suspect
you've done your research, Martin.
I suspect that they thought Red Bull might have an even bigger advantage because your DRS is so good, and that you and AlphaTauri voted yes. I'm guessing. I don't know.
Well guessed. But look, I think that if you've got close racing, I mean, irrelevant of our DRS effect or not, if you're at the front, you don't use it anyway. But I would have thought just generally for the race, it would have maybe created more opportunity. But we really don't mind.
Christian, you've got to run another rookie before the end of the year.
Yeah.
Eyes on who? Who's the next cab off the Red Bull rank, do we think?
Obviously, we've got a couple of drivers in the junior program. We also have other drivers that we work with as well. We've got Jake Dennis, the Formula E champion, that has done a lot of work behind the scenes for us on the simulator, for example. So Isaac Hadger, here this weekend is standing in as a reserve as well. So we've got a few options and a little bit of time yet before we need to put a driver in the car.
Christian, once we're here, we've got to obviously ask you about Dr. Marko's comments with regards to Sergio Perez, where he questioned, I suppose, his commitment and attribute that to his nationality. What did you make of those, and what have you said to him? And why haven't we seen a statement from Red Bull on this, please?
Well, firstly, those comments, were, they weren't right. I think Helmut quickly recognised that and apologise, for that, both publicly and directly to Sergio. And he spoke directly to Sergio about it. And I think you're always learning in life, even at 80 years of age. And I think inevitably lessons have been learned. Checo is a massively popular member of our team. He's an important member of our team. I pushed very hard to sign him back in, for the 2021 season. We have a huge following, around the world, and we take that very, very seriously, very responsibly. And I think that the fan following, not that just Checo has, but the team has, and Formula One has. We're very conscious of, and this is his 250th race. We want to focus on that, and obviously, from Helmut's perspective, he's apologised. He's not an employee of Red Bull Racing, so in terms of why didn't we put out a statement, he's part of the Red Bull wider group, and the group obviously issued that apology through the Service TV channel.
Lewis, though, made his feelings quite clear yesterday in the pen. He said apologies aren't enough on this. He said apologies aren't really enough when it comes to this kind of thing. Will there be any internal sanctions for Dr. Marko, or is it business as usual going forward?
Well, Helmut is technically an employee directly or a consultant to the group, so it's not really a question for me to answer. We've obviously spoken about it. I know he regrets what he said. He's apologized, and as I say, even at 80 years of age, you can it's still not too late to learn.
Obviously you have your own internal discussions and situations to handle, but in other series, in NASCAR in particular, the sanctioning body has played a role and issued suspensions and things like that. Do you think this is something that Formula One should have any domain over? Do you think they should get involved at all?
Well, there's a code of conduct and a code of ethics and a sporting code, and so that already exists. And of course, we've communicated with FIA and FOM throughout the last week, as you can imagine, and that is very much a matter for them. Obviously not for the team.
Okay, thanks, Christian. Appreciate your time.
Thank
you. That's for the best of the weekend. Let's just pick up on a couple of other things there. We touched on McLaren and those upgrades, and